Hello everyone, Scott Devers here, Visual Evangelist. Today we're going to have a science lesson with a Bible lesson attached. I'm going to be using this piece of copper tubing. It's just a water pipe, piece of copper tubing, that's all it is. Honestly, just a piece of copper tubing. I called my friend James, asked him if he had any in his garage, and he gave me this yesterday for use in this little demonstration. Now we're going to be using this copper tube and these two metal slugs, these two pieces of metal, and a copper tube. This is a demonstration of a thing called, and I need this too, it's something, you'll see why in just a minute. Let me double check things, okay. This is a demonstration of a thing called Lenz's law or Faraday's law. Now the first thing I want to tell you is that Faraday is Michael Faraday, who is a good friend of James Clerk Maxwell. Now if you don't know who they are, that's a shame, because they're two of the most important modern scientists. They were so important that Einstein kept their pictures on his wall. But what's more interesting still is these two scientists believed in the Bible. They knew all about what people were saying about evolution and all of that sort of thing, and neither one of them believed in evolution. But they were world-class, top-flight scientists, and they believed the Bible. And some people try to say that if you believe or you take the Bible literally, that you don't like science because you don't agree with evolution, therefore you do not like science, and you have no interest in learning scientific principles and so forth. That's not true. So the first thing I want to tell you about was Michael Faraday, James Clerk Maxwell. Now, Lenz was in a parallel with Faraday in the discoveries concerning magnetism and electronics. Now, today we're going to have a little demonstration of what's called Lenz's law or Faraday's law. Michael Faraday, world-class scientist who believed in the Bible, with James Clerk Maxwell, one of Scotland's #1 of all-time scientists who believed the Bible. Now let me show you how the experiment works. Remember, we have two pieces of metal, or these two metal slugs. We'll take the first one and put it into the tube, and there's nothing tricky about it whatsoever. I'm just putting that metal slug in there. Now when I raise this up, let's see, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pinch that metal slug so it doesn't get away before I want it to. I'm going to lift the tube up. I'll raise it. Let me put the other slug in my pocket. When I drop it, what do you think will happen? It'll fall straight out. That's the law of gravity, the law of gravity. And what goes up must come down, and I'm not a scientist, but anyway. So if I take that slug, put it in this tube, and drop it, it'll go straight through. Now watch this. This metal slug is in fact a magnet. And you might be saying to yourself, oh, it's a magnet, I understand. Do you? A magnet does not stick to copper. But watch what happens. I'll put the slug on that end. I'm going to turn it up and let it go down through this pipe. I'm going to put it on this end, and there's a reason. There's a little dent, and it works better if I put it. This is not a trick. It just, because of this little dent up here, I need to do this. So I'm going to put it on this end first. Now I'm going to tip it up, and I don't have to get in a hurry. Can you hear it? it seems like it takes forever. Now, I did tell you that I have a piece of tape here, and the reason is because inside of this pipe, I really needed to cut it off and then resand it and all that. There's just a little tiny dent, and it causes this to stick unless I start it from this end. But it is simply a hollow tube. That's all it is, a piece of hollow copper pipe. I'm going to, one more time, take this little slug, which is a magnet, but look, magnets do not stick to copper, but watch. You put it on this end, okay? Now I'm going to turn it up, and there's no hurry. It takes forever and ever for that thing to eventually, here it comes, fall out. It has to do with the fact that as the magnet goes down through there, it creates an electrical field and a magnetic flux. And I don't really know what I'm talking about exactly, but it's an interesting scientific experiment. If I take this slug, which is solid metal, and it's very much like the other one, except the other one is magnetic. If I put this one through, it'll drop straight through very, very quickly. Gone. If I put the magnetic one through, it goes through very, very slowly, because as it goes down through the pipe, it's creating a little currents of electricity and little magnetic fields and a thing they called magnetic flux. Michael Faraday, he came up with the laws and how this works and how it can be applied in various ways. And he was a world-class scientist along with, now, Lentz, as far as I know, was not a Christian. Christians can work with non-Christians in the field of science. But the two of them worked together. Michael Faraday, though, I want you to remind you, he was a man who believed in the Genesis account of the Bible, as did James Clerk Maxwell. And these men are top-class scientists. Lesson number one, there are a lot of world-class scientists who believe in the Word of God and do not believe in evolution. And number two, those of us who do not believe in evolution still have a love for science. And there's one last thing I want to talk to you about very quickly, and that is the one little pellet would just fly right through there. Just zoop, and it's gone. And the other one took its time. And it reminds me of the story of Mary and Martha. Jesus came to their home in Bethany. And Martha was running around the room, cleaning and cooking and dusting and all of that. And Mary was just sitting there listening to what Jesus said. Martha got upset. Said, Jesus, won't you tell Mary to jump up and help me do all this housework, all these important things? And Jesus said, Martha, Mary has chosen the most important things. You can always clean the house. You can always bake a cake. But you need to put me first in your life. Give me time. Give me time in your busy schedule. Sometimes we need to slow down, like that magnetic pellet going through my copper rod. We need to slow down so we can listen to the Lord instead of just flying by and running around and just doing one thing after another. I hope you enjoyed this very interesting demonstration. You can make one of these yourself. All you need is a piece of copper pipe. Go online and get yourself some ball bearings or some little metal pellets and make sure that one of them is magnetic, and that's doable. And get one that will fit the diameter of your rod and just simply drop them through, experiment, and have a great time with this fascinating Lentz's law, or the law of Faraday. I look forward to seeing you again sometime very, very soon.